They always say that what you say is not important, what you do is important, which is true. People do as you do rather than people do as you say, and that's why most people will go by your actions and not by what you say. However, what you say also is important because the words you use actually define how you're perceived, and what you say is important not only from people perspective but also from your own perspective as well. So decide how you want to be perceived, and that perception is based on what you say as well as what you do. Similarly, what you say is not just important from people perspective but also from the perspective of how you perceive yourself as well. And one example is exactly the words that you choose. And a lot of times we use extreme words such as never or always, and that typically defines a trait as a perpetual trait rather than something that is happening in the moment. For example, when you say you're always late, we're actually responding to a situation where that person has turned up late for something, and that applies to us as well. We always use the word never. I've never been good at tennis or something like that, and when we say that, we are actually calling out a trait which includes past, present, and future, which is not true. You are not good at tennis as of now. That doesn't necessarily mean you will never be good at tennis in future, or it doesn't necessarily mean that you never were good at tennis. Maybe there was one game that you played where you were fantastic. But when you use a phrase which is an absolute phrase, or a word which is an absolute word like never or always, that actually solidifies a trait or a quality or a lack of a quality which is not correct. So you say, instead of saying you're never good at tennis, you just say I had a bad game today, which means you're restricting that outcome only for that one day, for that one game, and you leave enough room to imply that maybe you have had good games in the past, maybe you will have good games in future, and allowing yourself to limit that only to that one particular day in your own mind also acknowledges the fact that there is scope for growth, there is room for growth. Maybe in the past you played well, you had a bad day, you did not prepare very well, and that helps a lot. And continuing from the previous point, Bible says, hate the sin, not the sinner. What it essentially implies is, maybe if someone has done something which is not right, let's just only focus on that act and not completely write off that person as a bad person. We all have good traits and we all have bad traits. And it is important to focus on one activity or one event and say, what you did that day or what you did this morning was not right. So focusing only on that activity, that event is a good idea, is advisable rather than labeling that person as bad overall, because we all keep changing. We humans evolve. We are not what we were yesterday. We will not be what we are today. We will not be tomorrow as well. So we keep changing. We keep evolving. It is important that we keep that in mind. So to summarize, while people say do as you would want people to be done to you, and essentially also say that people believe in what you do rather than what you say, it is also important to choose the words rightly. What you say is also important, and by simply changing one word here and there, by avoiding using the words like always, never, must, and replacing that with maybe this time, this is what you did today, tonight, this morning, that gives a sharper focus to what is being discussed and stops people from generalizing you, and you stop generalizing other people as well. You will always find that relieves you a lot, takes a lot of pressure off, and helps you focus on what is wrong and not generalize the whole episode as a bad episode as well. So that's it, folks. Signing off. Do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment if you would like me to cover something specific that you would want me to discuss.